I worked pretty much all 4 regions of the world, which basically start from North America to South America to EMEA region to Asia Pacific region. And currently I'm working in New York City as a SAP Solution Architect as well as SAP Center of Excellence in one of the global companies. And today I will give you guys SAP S4 HANA orientation, as you already given me your orientation and name and practice. I just started my recording right now once I introduce myself. Previously I didn't record because your personal thing. With myself it's pretty much fine. So all the audience is welcome. In my audience there are SAP consultants, there are intended SAP consultants, there are CPAs, there are working SAP FICO, non-working SAP FICO consultant are there. And those who are online, please guys mute at your end because we're listening echo over here. I truly appreciate you, those who are online, if they can mute at your end, because I will give you plenty of time for your question and answer session. There's a one phone caller, can you please mute? Because otherwise you guys listen my echo. Still there's a one person. Otherwise I will mute. Thank you guys.
So, Majid, I'm still here. This is Vipul.
Hi Vipul. I thought that you left.
No. I was mute listening to the entire conversation. So.
Okay, Vipul. Please, you also mute if you have a question, so we can. I will give you enough time. So we have 2 hours with me, you guys, and I will give you, because there are beginner starter mix in my class. So I will start those who don't have any SAP backgrounds. I have included some of the few slides for them. And those who are already in SAP, there are very good slides from technical perspective also there. So you will find mix and match for everyone in this orientation. Okay guys, SAP orientation is started. So here is our agenda of the orientation overview. Brief introduction, very brief introduction about SAP. The brief overview of SAP Architecture and SAP Landscape for those who wanted to join. SAP technical and functional areas. Introduction to S4 HANA. Innovation and simplification. Simple finance as front runner. SAP S4 HANA fueling the digital transformation, and I can see working in the e-commerce industry right now, so I can see that how basically it's transforming the entire world. S4 HANA end-to-end course detail, SAP training highlights, recap, and question and answers. So facts about SAP, and now slogan is run simple. From last 1.5 years, they changed the slogan, is called run simple. Previously, best run business run SAP, and now they changed the slogan into run simple based on S4 HANA. SAP is the world market leader for enterprise application analytics and mobile solutions with close to 290,000 customers in 190 plus countries. So market capital which is close to 100 billion. SAP customers include 87% of the Forbes Global 2000 companies, 98% of the 100 most valued brands, 100% of the Dow Jones top scoring sustainability companies. SAP customer produce 78% of the world food, 82% of the world's medical devices, 69% of the world's toys and games, 74% of the world's transaction revenue touches an SAP system. SAP touches US 16 trillion of retail purchases around the world. So based on this data, so you can move. Because SAP basically evolved from 1972 to today, almost 40 plus years of experience is there. And those who are working already from last 15, 17 years of real-time working in the IT industry, they can imagine, they can see how the industry evolved from last 17 to 18 years, and how SAP is also evolved from R1 to R2 to R3 to ECC. Now it's basically on HANA. So, and SAP has already developed their SAP Labs, and how basically SAP Labs worked. I'm just giving you examples. So as soon as basically they started with R1, then they started R2, then R3, basically real-time 2-tier structure, real-time 3-tier structures. So as soon as the implementation goes on with the real-time industry, every time there's a service patch is required or some of the new thing is required, those SAP Live worked around the clock based on the specific regions. They develop their products, and based on the development of their products, they consecutively revolutionize the existing products, and there are lots of existing codes are also on ABAP written code, and that's why these labs are across the globe. You can see from Labs Canada, Lab US, Lab Latin America, Labs Ireland, Labs in Paris, Labs France, Labs Germany, and Germany there's 2 places are there, then Labs in China, Labs in Vietnam, Labs in India, then CIS, Labs Hungary, Labs Bulgaria, Labs Israel, and Labs Berlin. So different parts of the world labs are basically available, and they are consecutively developing the new products. The new products, I am giving an example like SAP Bot Concur, SAP Bot Hybris, basically e-commerce solution, CRM solutions are there, as well as new with the development of the IT, whatever the company is required, the SAP is consecutively working, and their R&D is very, very strong at this point of time. That's why just giving you an example that how basically SAP is consistently working across the globe, and they wanted to develop their product. And what's basically 3-tiered SAP architecture is? So you can see the very first layer is database layer, and now you can also see that IBM DB2 is there. SAP HANA is also a database. If you are not using even S4 HANA, you can still use as an SAP HANA database too. So Oracle database is also there. Then second layer we have is called applications. So all types of different applications which is built on SAP and built with the ABAP language. These basically languages use ABAP language, and they are built on the second tier. This is called application layer. And then we have a presentation layer is also there. This is called graphical user interface. We can also see Lumina is there, SAP Fury is there. So all basically these are called presentation layers are there. And then we have a 3-tiered SAP architecture, and plus a ABAP presentation layer basically used ABAP programming and output. ABAP application layer is also used, ABAP execution, database layer is also used, ABAP program as well as data storage. So these programs basically are driven by languages called ABAP language. And this is also basically built, all the structures built on SAP NetWeaver. I'm just giving you some that how basically SAP is working. So not I'm going in detail, but I'm giving you the lump sum that how this whole landscape basically is built on. This is called NetWeaver. NetWeaver you can say is a hub point. If you wanted to do the integrations to SAP regarding people integration, regarding technology integration, regarding your web integrations, whatever the integration is there. So this particular platform, you can connect to the world through NetWeaver. Through NetWeaver, basically connecting the world to all other applications, as well as to the outside world, as well as inside world. So that's why this NetWeaver is most important and integral part of SAP architecture. From SAP Landscape perspective, so we have in each and every company we have 3 different landscapes are there, 3 different servers are there, named the development server, quality servers, as well as production servers. So we normally build all kind of a configuration in our development, and from development the configuration has to move to quality, and from quality, which is basically also called a staging client, where we perform all sorts of testing, from all end-to-end testing, initial testing, string testing, all sorts of testing we perform, and then it will move into production. Then we have you can see development system. We have a type of user, developer, consultant, key user, quality assurance, same developer, consultant, and key user. and then end user productive execution of transactions with real-time business data. All the information basically is there, and how the transaction basically move from development to production. So this way the path basically is given to you guys. Then this is a logical system overview. You can see in the operating system, and then we have a basis, which is called basis network administrator. Then a BAP language is basically there on top of that. So we have all different application modules are there. And once you are working on HANA, S4 HANA. S4 HANA basically is built on EHP7 enhancement version. 7 basically is working on it. And that's why I have given you this structure. Once you go into real-time project, then you will also see the basic structure is the same. But these are the additional features basically which added by the SAP. Oracle, the HANA, I will let you know. HANA basically is changed, analytical engines on top of that, and all the other, what are the other parameters basically we change the entire system and entire even finance. This is from navigation perspective. Here you can see SAP logon pad, SAP menu bar. Those who wanted to join very first time, so these few slides, first few slides are for them, those who wanted to join SAP. This is SAP logon, this is SAP menu bar, this is a tool bar, this is the title bar, this is a function bar, SAP standard menu tree, status bar. All this information basically is there. These are the session, these are the client information. And once we will work on the SAP, we always work with any of the software lifecycle development methodologies called SDLC. And in SAP, we call them basically ASAP methodology. That how basically SAP will work on the real-time projects, and real-time projects is called project preparation, business blueprint, realization, financial final preparation, go live and support, and continuous improvement. These are the things basically is there. Functionality perspective, because you will work on EHP7, so you will see once you go and work on to the S4 HANA, you will see that you have a ERP system is there. That is basically enhancement version 7 is there. On top of that, there are financial applications are there. You will see logistics application. SAP is also working on it, as well as some of the HR applications are also working on it. But we are focusing only on financial perspective. What are basically our financial applications are there? So from a system evolution perspective, so here you can see what basically from last over 40 plus years, how the system basically have revolutionized. Here you can see the major breakthrough happened in 1979. R2, real-time 2-tier structure. That's the reason I have shown you guys the 3-tier structure. So you can see that what the tier relationship is there. Then 1992, it was R3 system is there. And till R3 was the original system. And that was extended to 2004. And the same system and adds-on functionality was at that time is called ERP. And then 2005 is called ECC5, then ECC6 is there, and ECC6 is a very stable system. And on that stable system, from 2004 to 2015, and SAP started to build HANA on 2010, but they already have that. These are the table we wanted to move. These are the universal ledger, universal table we wanted to do. I will let you guys know. And this is a consecutive development is there. That's the reason I deliberately included the SAP Labs. So you guys can consecutively see how SAP is deliberately working across the globe based on the user requirement, because SAP is working pretty much on each and every major industry is there, including your defense, including NASA, you name it, and SAP is there, because they are consecutively evolving around the world and they're consecutively working, and that's the reason February 3rd, 2015, they launched SAP in New York Stock Exchange as well as Wall Street. So this way they launched, and after that they started, and now there are close to 1,300 customers are there, and they are growing on a day-to-day basis. So that's why you are here to learn S4 HANA. And this is just, you can see the preparatory steps from SAP perspective, from R2 to R3 to ERP, now is S4 HANA. And while you are going on to S4 HANA, so we have a typical question along the journey. So we'll ask, okay, what is a simple finance? What is central finance? What is in-memory computing? What are our business benefits are there? What are our IT benefits are there? What will change? How could our business case look like, which basically transformation option do we have, what is our best fitting path, what is the probable impact on our project landscape, especially Prakash for you. These are the questions the company always look for. That what are the things, because I have included this particular slide from based on my experience and expertise perspective, and those who are already working as a SAP FI consultant, they can see these are the questions you guys can meet on a day-to-day basis. And what is our general ledger strategy? Is program set up done? And then we can see, are we on track? Which quicks which we have achieved? Did we have successfully transformed organizational landscape, business model? That's the reason I have just given you the landscape perspective, because some of the questions are already I have dealt before we are going into it. Those who do not have any kind of a background, they can also benefit this particular orientation. And here you can see the common understanding development is there, then business benefits evaluation is there, then transformation path clarified is there, and deployment option decided is there, then preparatory steps planned, then gate process completed, then transformation objects met. So journey to SAP Simple Finance, and these are the major milestones. Similarly, I'm just giving you examples from 2004 and 5, which I had already witnessed, because at that time the company are reluctant to move into from R3 to ECC. And those companies who were reluctant, they at the end they was laggard, and they said no, we wanted to upgrade because there's a no way. Once they have witnessed by themselves that, oh, we didn't need to produce so many ledgers. So ECC is a basically Enterprise Resource Planning Central Component. That's called ECC is meant for. Through ECC, they can create leading ledgers, non-leading ledger with the same data platform, with the same data tables, and everything is there. Once they witness these things slowly and steadily, they started moving on to ECC environment. And the same thing I can see over right now, because lots of companies, sometimes the budget issues are there, sometimes other issues are there, but once they will see the fruits of S4 HANA, they eventually and they definitely will go into S4 HANA. There's no question in doubt. That's the reason SAP has already given, it's called 9 to 12 years process that those companies who wanted to move, so they have a 10 years runways there based on their budget timeline, and so they can also migrate. It is called migration path. Technically it's a migration path, but why is migration path? And these are the things we will also see, that if you are working on the on-premise, so what are the things, what are the steps, what are the preparatory steps, what are the things which we need to move? And two things basically are changed. General ledger, some of the functionality has been changed. Then asset accounting functionality, some of the functionality has been changed. There's a major change happened in it's called cash management, because you will see as we progress, there are lots of changes basically from data perspective. So these are the questions definitely comes in your mind, and based on these questions, so I let you know what's basically SAP HANA for next generation perspective. So I started with the journey with SAP, what's basically SAP is all about, what architect of the SAP is there, what landscape of the SAP is there, what are the questions normally the company look for. And based on this one, then we are going for, okay, we will go for S4 HANA. Why? Because right now Internet of Things are available. The data is increased a lot, tremendously data is increased. And how we manage and handle the data, that's number one question. Business networks are there, how we can pull into business network into our solution. And then we have a social network, we can also bring in the social network, how? And here are the, and then we can see our native integrations for hybrid scenarios, like SAP has Ariba. Ariba will provide you all the, whenever you wanted to purchase anything, you can go online and purchase something. Ariba will provide you the lots of, just like a vendor portfolio is there, so you can do whatever you want as per your needs and requirement basis. Then Concur, whenever you have a requirement need for travel, you can buy all the Concur platform is there, which basically manage all of your travel expenses. Then Field Glass, if you have a labor, contingent labor forces or resources are required, you can always call for your Field Glass. Field Glass provides you a very good solution, and you can manage your hours, you can manage your track. So this is also SAP, these are all SAP companies are there. And then hybrid software is also all the e-commerce solution. You name the e-commerce, And SAP Hybris solution will provide you all the details regarding from e-commerce marketing to e-commerce billing to based on consumption-based billing. Everything is basically provided by Hybris. And Hybris is also a company which SAP acquired in 2013. And SuccessFactors is also SAP bought company. Basically, will provide you a very good SuccessFactors when you are working as an employee. And if you wanted to track down and monitoring all of your activities based on SuccessFactors will provide you very good because our company is using, so we can see that how you can on a you can say quarterly basis you can monitor your project, quarterly basis you can evaluate yourself. All sorts of details from HR perspective basically is given over there. So how basically these scenarios are there? On-premise editions SAP has is called S4HANA. When you are working on on-premise, what are the things if the companies wanted to migrate on S4HANA? So what are the things basically we have to look for? How the table will change from your existing database table to new database table. And when we are talking about the new database table, how the new database table basically facilitates your general ledger, your depreciation, as well as your in-flight close, as well as your different scenarios basically you didn't need, and how basically cost element and GL account relationship basically that things we basically discuss in detail. Then SAP HANA platform, in-memory platform for data for all sorts of analysis purposes. If you wanted to do some kind of analysis and in flight you wanted to close your month, and in flight you can close, you can see I wanted to close my month, how my month will look like. You can also see your cash management forecast scenarios based on different options, based on different approaches. You can see your in flight, you can see your all cash speculations, you can see your cash management, you can see your liquidity management, you can see lots of processes basically SAP basically will give you in details. As for HANA application and extension, so instant it's called instant insight driven applications for all line of businesses and industry, depends upon which industry you are in and how basically you wanted to use, what's basically your needs. Based on your need and size basis, so SAP will provide you, and then you have to decide that you need a 6-tier platform, blades, and how many blades you require for your, that is basically a separate. So the basis team basically look for in details, and they will provide you what's basically size based on the size of the requirement and volume of the business. The SAP will give you solutions, and it will everything will come on S4HANA. Then for it's called Fury. Fury basically is a very good. Previously we have a roles and authorization based on segregation of duties. So we provided a role, and that role basically, first of all, transaction codes are there, and transaction codes is nothing but it's your day-to-day work basically which basically you perform, and that basically transaction code basically is we create a role, and then transaction code has assigned to the certain role, and then we create a roles and authorization in basis and security. So then basically these roles are assigned to the certain user based on their needs, and now SAP Fury basically provided you. Let's say Prakash is a director and he needs some of the organizational perspective, some of the transactions. So built-in transaction basically based on your needs. This is the transaction has been created specifically for you. And let's say you are here and you need some of the transaction in detail transactions, and you wanted to enter some of the data, and you wanted to see some financial details. So based on your needs and requirement basis, some of the specific things basically have been arranged, and those will be mapped into your iPad as well as iPhone too. So this basically provides you all the details. That's why everything basically that you can see your financial reports even on your iPhone. So these things basically help you out, and how everything basically incorporated to S4HANA. People's integration is there. You can see device integration is there, and big data integration is there. Social network integration is there. Business network integration is there. Internet of Things are there. I can clearly see that once the NetWeaver was there, very first time when R3 brought in the NetWeaver, at that time the people have no idea that how basically it will integrate the entire world. Similarly here you can see with S4HANA, everything is basically built, and that's the reason I have deliberately included all these slides so you can relate some of the slides to your future forthcoming orientation. That's the reason I have included, and now you have a very good idea that data is not an issue. The issue is performance is not an issue. The issue is not the table is not, we cannot pull the table because data is too much. Those are not the issues right now. Now we are going in a right direction, where basically all the industry and all the high-tech companies are moving on. And then you can see the SAP S/4HANA, the greatest simplifier of enterprise software. We have SAP HANA in 2011, which is called in-memory platform. Then we have a SAP Business Warehouse powered by SAP HANA, real-time analysis, real-time reporting, 2012. Then we have a SAP Business Suite powered by SAP HANA, real-time business, as one of the fellow told, like online analytical processing, as well as OLTP, analytical online transaction processing. So we have historical data and we have a line item detail is there. Now, previously, in order to build the historical data as well as line item reports, we have to build some of the programming logic to bring in the data. And now, based on one of the fellow, I forget his name, now you can see everything basically is coming into SAP on a real-time basis. So that's the reason that thing has happened in 2013. And in Simple Finance powered by SAP HANA, instant financial insight, no aggregates is required. Previously, we had to build in aggregates. We have built the logic, we pull the data, and then after that data basically is resolved. And then based on the needs, the data has to be sent to these different dashboards. And now everything is not required. So everything is already instantaneously. You can build in the data. You can see the reports, and everything basically is there. And now S/4HANA, February 3rd, 2015, SAP launched in New York. The official S/4HANA basically they launched in, and a simplified data model, new user experience based on the customization, based on their user needs, and then advanced processing, choice of deployment, and multi-tenancy is basically is also there. So a lot of multi-tenant, just like a tenant, basically we can, on this particular solution, on this particular technology, we can build as many as application based on the needs and requirement basis. You can, as we move on, I will let you know more and more detail how basically this is a very good solution from future perspective. So functional scope as of today, here you can see S/4HANA on-premise. Why it's called S/4HANA? S basically is simple finance. Basically the fourth generation in all these sorts of, because it has its own databases there. HANA, when it has own, that's called simplified HANA, is their full ERP scope. So ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, is a full suite basically is available. Full SAP Simple Finance is available, and that integrates with SuccessFactors, Employee Central, Fieldglass, Hybris for marketing, Concur, and Ariba network, as I have shown you previously. Industry roadmap is there, CRM, SRM, SCM. CRM means Customer Relationship Management. SRM means, again, this is an application for Supplier Relationship Management. Then we have SCM, Supply Chain Management, especially for manufacturing company. These are very, very important tools for them. But these are very important applications for them. Core deployed with ERP. So ERP basically is your core fundamentals. So where SAP has S4 deployed on core ERP, which is basically EHP7. So in EHP7, the core functionality basically is there. As once the class will start it, and the management will decide that the next week or the following week. So you can talk to your resource coordinator, then we will come into the class. Then I will show you that the core ERP is the same. Might be I have shown you like one glimpse of S4HANA, that how the S4HANA basically is look like. And then you can see what the functionality is the same, but underneath database has been changed, analytics has been changed. So lots of technicalities are simplified. Previously it was too cumbersome, and now everything is simplified. That's why it's called Logan Simple Run. And S4HANA Cloud Edition is also available. Those who cannot afford SAP on-premise, they can take their subscription. They can log on to there, and they can provide based on the subscription and based on the level. SAP is already on cloud is also available. And if you wanted to deploy your own, hey, I need all of my, instead of I will deploy on-premise, I wanted to deploy on clouds. So process is available, and you can do it when the company decide that how they wanted to move. And all the security parameters, everything is already set. I do not want to talk because it's total separate ocean, the cloud and everything, but the main structure basically is there. Embedded ERP scenarios are there. Business all-in-one scope is there, integrates with SuccessFactors. You can see SuccessFactors integration is there, employee central is there, field glass is there, Hybris for marketing is there, Concur, Ariba, everything is there. So you just join, plug in, and all the information is readily available. You don't need to go for your budget for all the on-premise edition. On-premise, you have to maintain all these server setup, everything, and then you have to manage your staff, all the details. And then industry roadmap is also there. Then extensions, as HANA cloud platform is there, customer extensions is there, partner extension is there. As a partner means customers. If they wanted to develop some their native applications, they can develop their native application on Hybris. So there are lots of open, it's called open stack technology is there. So in open stack technology, you can build whatever you want. And those who are technical, they know that once they use the open stack technology, what's open stack technology meant.
So what's the difference between cloud versus on-premise?
On-premise means major difference is you are managing your on-premise.
Yeah,
let's say infrastructure basis. And cloud, you are not basically taking care of your infrastructure, but you are giving them all the money.
But functionality-wise,
functionality is same. No differences there.
Okay.
It's basically completely decision based on how they wanted to go. Then customer journey to S/4HANA, and 3 situations, 3 deployment options. So based on the situation, now we are giving you the options. Option A, new customer, on-premise deployment, new installation. Cloud, up and running with the best practices in 2 days. Hybrid solutions, you can also merge hybrid solutions is also there. Starting point B, SAP Business Suite on any database customer. And then on-premise upgrade latest EHP, migrate database to SAP HANA, deploy, and then exchange innovations, and then a cloud transfer data to the cloud. This is also available. If you want mix and match, hybrid is also available. Some of the things they are already working on premise, and they wanted to take some of the data from, so they can also use, or they can completely go. This is called how they wanted to see. That's why initially the migration technologies came, and this is the course where basically we will go for all the details. And then option C, SAP Business Suite powered by SAP HANA customer. This is 3 options. On-premise totally, they say we'll go for on-premise. Cloud transfer to be database to the cloud plus hybrid. It basically depends upon what basically your innovation needs are, what basically your requirement is. Based on a requirement and based on your budget, SAP will cater according to your needs and requirements. That's the reason SAP has given you guys all the industry 9 to 10 years. And based on 9 to 10 years, based on your needs, and the financials guy, their technology hasn't changed, but their technology simplified from technical perspective. They still wanted to use their general ledger, accounts payable, account receivable, fixed assets, bank accounting, then cost center, profit center, profitability analysis, product cost, everything is same, but they are more simplified from technical perspective. Whatever you guys have already learned from SAP FICO perspective, technology stays the same, but they are in a more simplified and innovative style. So that's why you guys, then how basically, if you already know SAP FICO skill set, what are the other parameters, how I bring in my data? What are the new things in general ledger? What are the new things in my cash management? What are the new things in assets? And what are the new tables? And how the tables will change? These are the things basically we're discussing over here. And here you can see S/4HANA innovations, simplified data model, new user experience based on customization. Then we are not worried about, okay, we have to go through this user role. We have to add some new transaction code to the specific user, and then we have to transport it, and then we have to give to the user. No, everything basically is based on the new user experience. This is called UX, new UX experience through SAP Fury. Guided configuration, if you wanted to manage, some of the configuration is there. You can see guided configuration is available, but still consultants are required. It doesn't mean that consultancy work is less. No, still consultants are required. A consultant should be a very dynamic, very versatile consultants are required, who knows all this techniques are also. Then we have SAP Fury intuitive users, responsive design today, functional based applications are there. And then we have a multiple entry points for user, and inconsistent users are there. Target role-based applications. Then one entry point for the user and user experience following common design directions. All sorts of new changes as we are evolved into a new industry or into a new needs. The roles are also will be evolved because it's a financial, because based on international financial reporting standard, everything comes out from SAP. That's why everything stays the same. But how we are interacting with the new requirement, new needs, that's why this application basically is there. And here you can see from previously, even 5 years back, we can't see, imagine that on our iPhone, can you see financial reports? And now you can see your financial report, even on iPhone. So the new Fury design paradigm applies to the entire SAP S4 HANA suite. All new SAP HANA business scenarios are delivered in Fury application. There are different sorts of customized applications are available. How you want it? Very simple. Customized applications are available. And public cloud is also available. Simple finance is also available on-premise as well as. It depends upon what basically your company wanted and what basically your scenario is. And all the industries already know that SAP consultants are expensive. Even the SAP software is also expensive. So data footprint, what is our SAP data footprint is? So in a SAP data footprint, we have a compression in data. Is basically their column. These are the column. Previously it was rows, and now you can see column-wise approach is there. It's called column store. Any attribute as an index, because some of the fellows, they are already technical, but some who do not have any technical background. For them, it's a very good slide that how data footprint basically is worked over in S4 HANA. Any attribute as an index. So these are the, you can see as an index, you can OLAP as well as OLTP together. Previously we have to work separately, and now we are, and for the companies, in order to bring OLAP and OLTP, so they create a separate project for that. In order to, they invest so much of money for that, and now they didn't need to invest so much of money because all the information is already available in HANA Analytics. And this is a new dimension, that why this approach is called new universal ledger. So what's basically new universal ledger approach? Accounting before simple finance, source of truth. You can see balance sheet, P&L statements are there. This is general ledger. In GL code from material ledger perspective is there, from asset accounting perspective is there, from controlling company code perspective is there, as well as from profitability analysis perspective there. All the information are flowing and coming. If you are a financial guy, you can see the lots of information is basically coming to your central hub, basically with the general ledger, and general ledger basically gives you the report based on your application needs. And this way basically account assignment basically is made to the cost center, profit center, segments, and before ECC we have R3. In order to generate these reports, we have to create a separate ledger for that. For this one, profitability ledger is there, then foreign currency ledger is there, then segment ledger is there. So we have to create lots of ledger, and then ECC was in 2005 was there. Then everything has come together in one process, and now again revolution is there. Instead of a different databases, now we have a one universal data. Basically that universal data basically provides you all sorts of information. That's why the truth basically has been given to you guys. And here's a single source of truth. Universal journal is called universal journal. Here you can see general ledger. In general ledger, you can see the field is ledgers. We have a different ledgers, leading ledgers and non-leading ledgers are there. Leading and non-leading ledgers in general ledger always work based on the global company needs. If they have a different fiscal year, if they have a statutory needs are there, if they have a local gap needs are there, and if they have a statutory differences that they wanted to complement in their ledgers based on their local requirements, how basically they have to see them. The ledger is basically there, and now you can see company requirement is there, account requirement is there, then balancing profit center is there, account 1, account 2, account 3, everything is flowing and coming into universal ledger, universal journal. And then COPA basically is provide you is called profitability analysis report. Profitability analysis report is always based on your product line of business, then based on your customer, based on your employee, based on your regions, and based on any attributed which has to be set by the company, or any department which their volume is more than 10% of their total volume, then you need a segment. And those segments basically comes under the profitability analysis, and those all reports basically are coming and into universal journal. And then from controlling perspective, cost center, profit center, cost expense, account 1, account 2, you have a cost elements are there, primary cost elements, secondary cost element, everything basically is mapped to your universal journal. Then asset accounting perspective, from fixed asset perspective as well as the material ledger perspective, especially from manufacturing perspective, this Simple Finance give them a very good facility. They can incorporate lots of data. Previously, in order to get all this data, all the depreciation, we have to go through different, and now everything is a single journal is there. Once you have a single, it's called universal journal, all the data is there. You can, in flight, you can simulate your data. This is called in flight. If you wanted to close your books and you wanted to see, you didn't need to wait for. In flight, you can close and see, and everything basically has happened. That's why immediately, if you wanted to pull the data on your even smartphone, you can pull the data and see. And security is absolutely tight over here. All the security layers parameters as per the normal needs and requirement perspective, everything is already taken care. The new architecture, this basically is a new architecture which I just let you know, and this basically is revolutionized S/4HANA, this universal ledger, journal. And then new journal entry, header, and items are there. So we have a header as well called respective item. Previously we called line items, and now we have called header. BKPF basically is header table, and this is called respective items are there. And that respective item, there are rare cases where the entries in is called AC DOCA. BKPF, AC DOCA, or whatever you call, are written without a document header, carry forward, corrections, migration. These entries do not represent standard business process. This is a big change. Those who are already working in SAP, they know that this is a big change, and from reporting perspective, how it will facilitate all the reporting. And then the table ACDOCA contains all fields needed for general ledger, controlling, material, asset accounting, material ledger, and profitability analysis. These are very important modules. So multi-gap capability through R, L, D, and R dimension. These are different dimensions you can see in reporting. 6-digit field for line item numbering, 23 digits for currency fields. This is also very good breakthrough from technical perspective. I'm just giving you a scenario. Once you will there, then you will get to know why this is, especially the universal journal, give you a very good reporting capability. Before, here you can see OM, profitability analysis, general ledger, consolidation, special ledger, AP, AR, indices. These are the aggregates. These are the indices in from technical perspective, how basically from a business warehouse perspective, AP, AR, and then financial documents, FI and CO, and how basically it will, you can see consolidated financial system with no need for pre-computed aggregates for ETL. It's called extraction, transfer, and load. It's called ETL, especially in the business consolidation. So these are the things very, very important, and you can see HANA views on the fly. So these are this is the things you didn't need to go through on the fly. You can, whatever you can see, you can simulate and you can calculate the reports. This is before and this is after. These are the interfaces, and this way basically you are taking this one. And you visualize, because you already have a technical background for Kaj, you can visualize yourself that if the company will implement, what is the scope of this one? How the company can get the evaluation as well as get the power and get the if you guys have a data issues and all the other issues have. And then non-disruptive due to compatibility, those who are technical, for them this slide is for them. So CO compatibility view in Simple Finance 2. So here you can see SDP, ABAP, and select. There are some of the DDIC table. COEP is a table assigned to one of the CO line item, and how basically is views. SC11 is again data dictionary, ABAP dictionary is there, and the DDI table COEP is there, and we provide called compatibility views. Via the select is redirected to the new persistency in HANA, and the example given in access to table COEP is redirected via, these are the table technical perspectives to give them easiness for their reporting as well as from extraction as well as from the technical perspective. They don't need to go for cumbersome approach. Now everything basically is easy approach. And then unified master data maintenance for general ledger account and cost element details. So those who already know general ledger as well as we have a cost element, we will map our P&L account to the cost element. In cost element, then we again have a primary cost element and secondary cost element. Now over here everything basically is unified. in at a chart of account level. So cost element move into general ledger account logic. That means no time dependency for cost element any longer. No default account assignment in cost element master. P&L accounts can be classified as cost element. Though previously we have to perform it, but not secondary cost element. That means cost element becomes GL account with a specific semantic. Cost element type remains, so secondary cost elements are still only posted from CO allocations. Default account assignment maintained in cost element master are migrated to OK. These are some of the things there from technical perspective, that how these things basically is available. And these are the things from secondary cost perspective. Secondary cost element appear in GL reporting. Previously they were not appear. And now you can see secondary cost elements is used for allocation. Those who are non-SAP. And we always use for an allocation, let's say if you wanted to go for departmental allocation. So we accumulate all of your line items into a one original element. That original element in SAP language is called secondary cost element. And then secondary cost element basically do all sort of allocation. As well as industry and manufacturing, we do all sorts of internal allocations like machine hours, machinist and machine produce two types of products, how the basically direct activity and indirect activity basically be mapped. This is also basically mapped through secondary cost element. So in the past, posting of secondary cost element affecting GL reporting entities, profit center function area created real-time integration posting. The real-time integration mapped secondary to primary accounts in the past. So all this information basically is available, and it provides you a very good approach even in general ledger. And previously it was not possible in general ledger, and now you can see even secondary cost element basically you can see it. And you can also see the reports. Then you can see from general ledger perspective technical changes with simple finance too. AC DOCA basically is a table, is your universal journal, and then you can see Flex A, T, and all other accounts are basically, these are the different tables are in SAP. So everything basically is mapped to your one table. So data previously stored in Flex A, Flex T carry forward is now stored in the table AC DOCA. Data of new GL industry table for public sector, for joint public sector, all those who are federal as well as state companies, because I worked in public sector too. So for them it's also a very good facility. And those who also wanted to work in joint venture, oil and gas companies, they can also use the same AC DOCA table. And data of customer created new GL table ZZ. If you wanted to create based on industry specific table, previously you can also create, you didn't need to go through all the scenarios and everything, you can directly create the customized table. And availability view is provided in the Flex A table. Then the compatibility view redirect statements of Flex A to AC DOCA. Why I've just given you? So those who are new, those who are already in SAP, those who are from technical perspective, for them this orientation is intended for everyone. That's why some of the technical details I have also given, because this is the orientation for simple. Why it's called simple finance? This is called, now due to this it is called simple finance. And FI posting with simple finance too. So BSAG is a line item table previously. In FI accounting interface, now accounting interface, now it goes into AC DOCA, PCA, FI SL, ECSCS, costing based COPA, all this information is there. Component AC DOCA posted via the accounting interface. Similarly to Flex A, then former COEP, Flex A, these are different table names where are the important data basically stored. That's why important table names are also given. And new fixed asset accounting in the simple finance add-on, because it's an add-on functionality. And what happened in from fixed asset perspective? Fixed asset perspective, these are ANEK, ANEP, ANEA, ANLP, ANLC. These are our different tables which store different data from fixed asset perspective. Now everything is coming into AC DOCA, and then these are called actual line items, and these are called non-actual items details. You can also carry them, you can also statistical analysis too. So these are the techniques that are also simplified even in fixed asset, and new depreciation calculation engines are there on all of the parameters also associated with it there. That's the reason in general ledger as well as in fixed asset, because when you are working in a global scenario, and each and every country have a country-specific chart of depreciation. Then depreciation rules and depreciation keys and all other parameters are involved. Now you can see simplified. You want to see actual line item is there. You can also see non-actual line item, which is basically statistical data you can also take out from fixed asset. So that's why this technique is also given. And this is basically from controlling perspective. So from controlling perspective, COBK, COEP, COSP underscore BAK, cost BAK, all this information, actual data of COEP is now stored in AC DOCA, needed actual data for long running orders and project from, and all this information basically is given. And non-actual item, actual item and non-actual item can also carry away in a simplified manner. Previously it has a lot of logic and others involved. Now everything you can carry it out in an easy fashion. And from modify operations on table COEP. So from a developer perspective, if you are a developer, from developer perspective, your job role is also simplified. So with simple finance, data previously stored in the table COEP is now stored in the table AC DOCA for value type 04, 11 and other value types are still stored in the table COEP. From their perspective, the job is even for consultant, job is more simplified. For technical perspective, job is more simplified. For BW warehouse perspective, those people are still separate consultants. Their jobs are still simplified, and those who are in finance, their jobs are still simplified, and their job is having a more advanced. And because all the time the consultants are required over there. Previously, let's say there are 10 consultants are required. Now there are major financial consultants always will be there on the company. And I never have, because from last 15 years, all the time I am in the corporate sector, all the time, working in the corporate sector. So this way, your demand is always, you guys always on demand, rather you can say it like this way, even with simple finance. So here you can see material ledger perspective. Material ledger basically will give you the actual detail of the per unit cost on a normal month day, from day 1 to day 30th. All the prices are calculated based on the standard price. At the month end, all the data basically moved through automated way in the material ledger. That material ledger will basically calculate your based on the consumption of your seed, based on your packaging material, based on your raw material. So basically we have a moving average price, we have a standard price, and then we have a different valuations are there based on per plant and based on the valuation of your different currency. Everything basically is calculated by material ledger. And now in material ledgers we have a different, these are the tables, and now everything is coming into ACTOCA. And now from BKPF, usage of material ledger for parallel currencies and parallel valuation proposes. So contents of the table, these are the things is now stored in ACDCA. Previously it was stored in different tables, just like slice and dice, some information from this table, some information for that table, and then now everything is coming into your ACDCA table. And access to all data in tables still possible via the views. Different views are also given if you wanted to see the reports. From material ledger perspective, this is also a very major breakthrough. And then functions to recognize application. Basically, prima nota is in order to see the discrepancy issues, use function to recognize application discrepancy. So this functionality basically is also available through different tables. So here prima nota is the source document that triggers the creation of journal entries, and that source document, the prima nota is single anchor that follows to reserve the complete process triggered by the prima nota. Prima nota keeps the information that has been entered in the system. Again, it's simplified as system. Previously, you have to go through for posting with the financials, Word with the VA data, as well as from old posting notes, everything is simplified and going into ACDCA table, and from AC DOCA table, you can generate whatever you want as per your need basis. And these 1 or 2 pages is only for technical people. They can also facilitate this information. And then for classical manual CO posting, like reposting of cost and revenue, like manual activity allocation to CO, manual reposting with reference, and the prima nota is still written with the table COEP is a technical table. All the information basically I have created. Those who are technical and wanted to go more detail, especially in the manufacturing industry, discrete industry, process industry. for them this piece of information is very, very important. That's why I have created this information for them. And then this written as well as in cases where CO basically is triggered via BAPI, it's called Business Application Programming Interface. And then material price changes or material debit or credit created in a prima nota in the material ledger, the respective journal entries are posted to ACDOCA. So this basically ease out their total entire process. So for them it's a major breakthrough. So that's why you will see in future that lots of industry will shift into S4HANA, and people are required who having a expertise in S4HANA or who having a skill set S4HANA, those consulting company will migrate into S4HANA migration. That's why this course is specifically intended for the audience who wanted to move into those companies who wanted to move, because they will not bring everything, they will move, they will migrate, because all the technology stays the same, only few of the modules will change, and how the few of the modules will change, what is the process and procedures in order to migrate. That's why this on-premise S4HANA on-premise edition, basically I have created this course for you guys. And here is a result, trial balance with many drill downs. Previously, let's say we have a drill down. Drill down is called, let's say you have a segment, iPhone drill it down to iPhone 3, iPhone 4, iPhone 5, iPhone 6. And then further you wanted to drill it down, iPhone 5. In iPhone 5, you have iPhone 5, iPhone S. If you further drill it down, you wanted to see is it 16 GB, it's a 32 GB, it's a 64 GB, it's a 128 GB. This kind of a source of reporting is called drill down report. Similarly, drill down report, there are lots of drill down capability, how you wanted to see your balance sheet, you can also see your more capability of drill down report basically is available. No need to bring in the data, it's already available, how you wanted to see. And then multi-dimensional income statements are also available, how you, and from which perspective, which dimension analysis perspective you wanted to see your P&L reports, based on your revenue, based on your, you have a different type of expenses are there, different types of revenues are there, based on different types of expenses. You wanted to see based on the cost center, based on the company-wise report, based on the department-wise report, based on the internal order-wise report. You wanted to see different sorts of report. Everything basically comes in the general ledger. Previously it was not available, and now you can see from different perspectives, different dimension analysis. Even your P&L account statements are also available. Then we have accounts and cost elements are there. How basically these are, you can see GL accounts are there. Balance sheet accounts and P&L accounts are there. In cost element, this is called on your right hand side. This is called controlling. This is FI. So primary cost elements are there, secondary cost elements are there. How basically it will move and will do stuff. So merge of account, cost elements in chart of accounts. Here you can see balance sheet accounts, non-operating expenses and revenues are there, primary cost elements, secondary cost elements. This is just an example is given. So based on your needs, you can manage your dimension analysis as per your need basis. So previously data was a major issue, or no, data is not a major issue. So that's why you can bring in the data, and it is a consecutive approach for 40 plus years of experience and labs and consecutive R&D, and then they want to do day by day based on the needs and requirement basis. They have done this one, and very soon you will also see a major change, because SAP always initiate major changes in the accounting principles, because different sorts of reportings are available. Based on this, you will see next 3 to 5 years there will be changes in the International Financial Reporting Standards will also be, you can see, because now you can see the reports wherever you can want. And those who are already practicing CPA, because industry is so much now dynamic, and the dynamic reporting capability is also available. So wherever they want to see that this report is available, they will implement in their accounting principle. Once they implement their accounting principle, eventually they have to go on to SAP or S4HANA. There's no other way. I'm just letting you know those who wanted to pursue their career, this is also good, because lots of capabilities is available. Because I worked in global implementations, I know that segments, I know that when divestiture is happened and de-divestiture happened, how the company wanted to bring in their segment reporting. For them, it's a big issue that how they wanted to map and how they give to their a statutory authority, and what are the principles, and which principles basically they break it down their balance sheets. So lots of things basically are required. So this basically helps them out and facilitate their lots of international reporting capabilities. And this way you can see previously, here you can see balance sheet, all the info. Now you can see secondary cost element, primary cost elements also available in general ledger. Previously what's not available. And here you can also see, okay, this is my expense category. Now you can see in general ledger, this is my cost element category is also there. Previously, cost element category was not there. Primary cost and secondary cost element was not there. Now you can see both things basically are available in general ledger, display of general ledger account. Asset accounting also changed. So SAP HANA Suite 2. So usage of new depreciation calculation engine is mandatory. Universal entry, universal journal is active. Automatic migration, new architecture doesn't support, and vice versa. Joint venture accounting officially released for ledger solution. This is meant for it's called oil and gas. Lease accounting engine, then real estate classic, public sector management, funds management, using request, and application link enabling, transfer of asset, transaction, and then transition of new asset accounting by migration of customized data, transactional data, and can be activated after completed ending period. And here we have already discussed that how basically all the fixed asset, different data structure, they are moving into a new data, and from new data you are taking out actual line item report as well as non-actual line item for statistical analysis purposes. You can take the data. And new architecture in fixed asset, here you can see our operational entry is going into transaction to technical clearing account, and here your ledger specific solution is also available. Previously we have to create a separate ledger for this one, and now SAP has structured it like this way, automatically go into different ledgers. Transactions to asset reconciliation account, asset master data tables, and then asset transactional tables. They're working in side by side. An operational entry document post to technical clearing account. Operational entry document never updates the asset. Asset is used for checks only. And then accounting principle specific documents, all basically is happen over here. And here you can see these are the accounting principle. IFRS ledgers, local. Previously these columns were not available even in reporting, and now you can see everything is happened based on the reporting structure. Previously we have to create some of the, now it facilitates, that's why it's called simple. Simple login. Login has changed. SAP login. Here you can see different amounts to be capitalized. Previously you can see over here different amounts to be capitalized due to different amounts to be capitalized due to accounting principle. If you are working globally, then this is a very good functionality. So here you can see all this information from assets to vendor and everything basically is happening. And AP reconciliation, technical clearing account, asset reconciliation, trade expenses, this is again different amounts to be capitalized due to accounting principle, local gap. Whatever the local gap is there, based on the local gap said that I wanted to see my trade expenses. Trade expenses should be separate. So they can see it doesn't matter. We can give you, this is the report. And rest basically is the information, how basically information is there. And then new fixed asset accounting, the simple finance add-on. This is called add-on functionality. Existing functionality we are adding on the new functionality. Data entry, document display, asset explorer, depreciation runs, simple screen is simplified, posting document is updated in financial accounting at asset level. So lots of simplification basically is done. That's why it's called simple finance. Now you have a very good idea why it's called simple finance. And then from course perspective, we will go through our SAP Simple Finance on-premise edition. So this is the course 1503. So 1503 basically talks to you about that SAP said that those company who wanted to go through, this is the material. I have extracted this material from the same course. And this is end-to-end course detail. What's basically our course, intended course should be. So introduction of SAP HANA, introducing S4 HANA. Then I will go in detail what basically SAP HANA is all about. Here I'm just giving this orientation. So that's why I'm just in a brief nutshell I have given you all this information. Then S4 HANA, then Simple Finance, then providing a technical overview of the implementation prerequisite, describing the architecture of the SAP Simple Finance on-premise edition, then analyzing the universal general ledger, then analyzing the central finance option, providing an overview of the reporting options, introducing SAP Fury, explaining the migration process for the Simple Finance on-premise edition, then analyzing the migration process per system starting point, then preparing for migrations to and installing the Simple Finance, then configuring general ledger, because general ledger configuration has been changed. Not all, but few of the parts has been changed. How basically we have to perform it. Configuring new asset accounting has also changed. Not all, but few parts basically has been changed. Then migration of asset accounting, and then customizing controlling account like COPA based accounting, and then migration to the universal ledger, finalizing the migration, then new asset accounting, explaining the results of the migrations. And then once you have to fulfill, then you will be in a position at the end that you can easily answer all this question. I deliberately included, so you can see previously, start of the journey, start of the SAP orientation, we have no idea, but at this point now we have a clear-cut idea that we can answer lots of questions, even if you are doing it very first time. Recap, I have just given you that as a new technology, and this new technology is basically creating the SAP world very simple in general ledger accounting, in fixed asset accounting, in reporting, in cash management, as well as for all analytical, as well as end user experience has also been changed. You can also convert all of your report into a smartphone and iPad as per the needs and requirement basis. And material will be provided in the form of a PowerPoint presentation, PDF, Word document, simulation file, interview question paper, mock interview preparation with the ID recruiter and SAP certified consultant based on the real-time scenario. And these are the training highlights they will provide. They'll provide you real-time S4 HANA. And S4 HANA basically $175, $150 per month access. Study material is there, training with live example. Guys, please mute. In a couple of minutes, I will be done. SAP Practical, I will give you some of the details that you have to perform on the system. Some of the exercises I will give it to you based on this on-premise. So once you go to the real-time project, so you guys will perform the same task because SAP provided us the same task. So we will work accordingly. And feedback from SAP training coordinators on job support if you are part of SAP practice of Tractors, resume preparation, mock interview with our consultant, SAP certification if you wanted to go for S4 HANA certification. I can also provide you the help on job assistant, email via etc. All this information basically is available. Now you have a question and answer session. Guys, no, the forum is yours.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hi, this is Vinay here. Yeah, this is good introduction overview. So after this course, the first question is, what are the different roles we might have on this job related to the Simple Finance S4 HANA? And the next question is, after this course, what we are capable of doing on the job site or related to our job?
Actually, I'm just letting you know your basic job. Previously, before Simple Finance, SAP ERP is the same. Its structure as a SAP financial consultant roles are the same. As a general ledger consultant, as a fixed asset consultant, as a APAR consultant, as a profitability analysis consultant, as a product costing consultant, FICO roles are the same. But with SAP S4 HANA, your roles are more improvised in the form because from technical perspective, all the tables have been changed and they provide lots of facilities to the end user. Your role could be your general ledger consultant, your role could be a fixed asset consultant, your role could be a profitability analysis consultant, your role could be a product costing guy. Depends upon which industry, specific industry you are in, and what specifically their requirement and needs are there. Your role could be your treasury consultant, like cash management is a powerful tool in S4 HANA. Might be your role is there. So still in SAP FICO in finance area, you have 4 to 5 different types of roles are available.
Okay. You mentioned that the simple finance on premises, correct? But what is going to happen to the other modules, correct? Like material management or the HR. So they go
already working on it. Logistics is already underway. It's already done. So they are already on S4 HANA. All the other modules are also on S4 HANA. Slowly and steadily, that's their future plan, and it's already in the pipeline. They started with finance because all the financial report being extracted from finance. That's why they started with finance. And SAP has already started FI and CO. SAP started with FI and CO. So they started with finance because finance will get all the data. And they have already created a universal ledger. They will just integrate all the data tables because lots of code changes have been required. So they are making their changes and they are bringing AC DOCA, basically with universal journal is there. So they are creating and they are bringing all the changes to ACDOCA table. So they are already working on it. So your main journal basically is your universal journal. That universal journal will facilitate all the other modules out there because the 24/7, because the different labs are already working. If you have already seen, that's why I deliberately shown you different labs. So different labs are already working on it, and they are already converting all the codes, and all the codes are converting into ACDOCA universal journal. And then once they already convert, then you can easily in-flight simulations. You can see in material ledger, production planning, even your warehouse planning. For all sorts of supply chain management, supplier relationship management, CRM, everything will be basically you can take all this data from SAP perspective. That's not a big deal, but around the clock, SAP teams are already working on different labs and different teams are working on the other applications.
Okay. I know you mentioned the different roles because my background is.
I forgot your name.
My name is Vara, V-A-R-A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, I know the basics of the FICO module, and I'm more the technical side. As you mentioned, good points. You mentioned no indexes, no aggregations. It's data more optimized. So I know all those stuff, and also you mentioned the HANA views on fly. So I create currently, do the HANA modelings. So I know the more technical. So where I can fit into the in the FICO point of view, where do you think I can focus?
No, I got your point. Previously, you are a technical side, and now you are a more functional side. So your role will be a more functional side. You need to learn the general ledger functionality. Once I will be, even with any class, I will get that how, from general ledger perspective, based on the new technology, how basically you have to learn the new functionality of the general ledger. What's basically the business requirement of a general ledger? What's basically is working at a global basis, and if the company has corporate headquarters, let's say in the USA, and company subsidiaries are over 100 subsidiaries across the globe, if they have a different fiscal year, how basically you have to manage your different fiscal year. So what are the functionality you need to learn? Then you need to create a non-leading ledger. Why non-leading ledger? What are the requirements of non-leading ledger? If you have a different fiscal year, you require a non-leading ledger. If you require a accounting principle need, you need a non-leading ledger. If you have a different country-specific chart of account is required, you can also chart of account is required. If you have a different statutory adjustment is required, you need a. So these are the functionality you need to learn. Similarly, you need to learn the functionality in asset accounting. In asset accounting, how basically you have to acquire chart of depreciation. What is the chart of depreciation is there, and how basically based on different country-specific regions. So each and every country has their own chart of depreciation, and then own depreciation areas are there. How the depreciation is basically calculated. These are the functional aspects you need to learn. Those are our technical people.
Okay.
That's everything. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Actually, as this SAP evolving S/4HANA and all these new technologies, and as you mentioned, Fury is the user interface, correct? So, at the technical point of view, as a technical consultant, is there any work involved developing those Fury interface, or that work will be more reduced, more focused on the functional side?
So this is the role, a type of a role. If you remember, we have a, it's called report painter. We can also create, you need to learn, just like a similar point of view, you need to learn that how the Fury reports are created. It's not technical where the codings are involved. You can learn it and then apply it. But still on the real-time company, consultants are required. They cannot do by their own.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But if you are a technical background, still if you will learn this functionality, the finance functionality, it will give you a boost because the future in finance, this is an evergreen tree. And plus because everything, and then when you go into SAP cash management, in SAP cash management, lots of HANA analytics involved, lots of simulations are involved.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this
that's really
that's really help you over there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. That's why this orientation I have intended for all the audience. Those are new, those are old, those are technical background, those are functional.
And you mentioned that we can write the certification also, correct? For this simple finance, there is a certification is there. Like HANA, we have the HANA certification. So similarly here also, you do have the certification.
S4 HANA certification is there. S4 simple finance certification is there.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of straightforward, of course. Maybe you might need to know all those fundamentals, make sure that before you go to the.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they are expecting that you already knew general ledger, you already knew fixed assets, you already knew profitability analysis, you already knew product costing, already knew bank accounting, payable, account receivable. And that's why they have included. That's why I have intended this course. So I will also give you the flavor of what is the general ledger, how the general ledger design is there, what's the functionality is there, what's the fixed asset, what's the fixed asset functionality, what's the business requirement is there. On top of the whatever the remaining, so I will fulfill in my course those who are technical for them, those who are non-technical for them, those who are just fresher for them, and those who are from other SAP background. This is also fulfill this course for them because I've already industry experience, and if they ask them based on their industry and their financial experience, I can give them very straightforward answer.
Okay, and one more thing, the company is still not moved into the new general ledger, correct? As Faggleflex and all those things. Some companies really still using the classical. So what is the impact for them to moving directly from classical GL to the simple finance?
They still have almost 10 years is there because SAP sometimes didn't support the old. They have created their own team, sport team, and SAP is not, and functionality is there, and based on, because the SAP is a very consistent, very strong language, and the code is not is there, so they are managing it.
So there is migration process. They can migrate the classical GL to when the simple finance is new GL, correct?
Simple finance based on the ESP7, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
The ABAP is pretty much same. They didn't change the ABAP.
Now, SAP coding is functionality is more easier.
More easier.
More easier. From technical perspective, some of the table I have shown you.
They consolidate. I see that they consolidate tables.
Yes, consolidation.
You know, 10 now you have one.
Yes.
Do that.
Change.
And then the HANA structure is introduced. So it's basically databases. Doesn't matter what database you have. You could have HANA, you could have DB2 or Oracle.
Yes, if you want, it's called whatever. If you want, it's called mix and match approach. You can also do it. Hybrid approach. You can also do, or you can on-premise. Based on your needs, you can adopt it.
Okay. So it's basically simplification of R3 with different user experience.
Yes. As per the new requirement need, because previously IoT was not there. Now Internet of Things are there. Social networks was not there. Social networks you can incorporate it. Big data was not incorporated. Big data you can incorporate. Data, there's no data issues there because everything required data. especially from cash management perspective. They wanted to see their forecasting from all perspective, from all dimension analysis perspective. They wanted to close their books, month-end close, year-end close. From material ledger perspective, they wanted to see from supply chain perspective, they wanted to see from different valuation perspective, they wanted to see from different foreign currency perspective, they wanted to see. Everything they can see and they can move into, because that is not an issue.
It looks like migration path is pretty straightforward because they're going to give you migration.
Yes.
In your experience, maybe if you heard of anybody, how long does it take from R3 to HANA?
R3 to ECC is required 8 to 9 month project.
Okay.
And then from ECC to S4 HANA, again it's required, you can say close to 8 to 9, because in projects, parallel projects, we always take care of, because we are moving all the structure 8 to 10 months, 8 to 9 months, depend upon the volume. 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, depends upon what's your size of the volume of your business. That basically depends. Because more time you have, the more testing cycle you have. More testing cycle you have, the more consistent approach you have once you will do it. So always, because I have seen with experience, those who have a less, it's called, especially in the final preparation stage, those who have a less testing cycle, they have a more issue in production support. They face a lot of challenges in their first 2-3 months. First is called hypercare, and those who have more tested cycle are there, 3-4 tested cycle are, they have a very less issues are there. And resolving issues while the testing is very easy. Once you go live and then making a small change, you have to go through the whole change management process. And SAP change management is very cumbersome. You have to go through certain paths because you cannot change the data. The biggest objection for audit that what's your change management process? What's your roles and authorization is there? What's your user access is there? How you view your user access? Frequently and what specifically reporting steps is there, what specifically audit validation is there. They check lots of details. But before final preparation, if any changes is required, right away make changes and it's in the system. So it's always best that if you can add one more cycle, 1 month, a couple of months, or 3 months, it's better than you have to be hurry and go live. So that's the reason company always go for 3 to 4 months in only for testing. Any other question, guys?
Yes, Majid. Hi, this is Vipul.
Hi, Vipul.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much. One of the quick questions I have, Majid, is that we just recently finished the FICO course. So while I'm still finishing that up, what would you, again, my situation could be very typical, so what would you recommend that definitely, finish that piece, but in the interim, should I focus also on this aspect?
This is a totally, the course you have learned, FICO, is totally different course, and this course is a totally different course. This course talks about you are working already in EHP 6 or EHP 7, especially on 7, and how basically you are bringing in the data. What are the changes in general ledger? What are the changes in fixed asset? And those who are new and they wanted to, then I will give them a general overview. I will give them some spreadsheet. Hey, this is a design, how this design basically will work. From the accounting general ledger perspective, from fixed asset perspective, from cash management perspective. So they have a very good idea that how this whole finance is working. Otherwise, this SAP FICO, if you learn whole, this is a good point for you, those who have already learned SAP FICO and done on top of that they are learning. Because this is an addition on that, on top of whatever you have learned. Whatever you have learned SAP FICO, this is on top of that, this is an addition on that how basically you have to move your add value to S4 HANA. And you guys can easily learn, those who have already having SAP FICO background, as well as those have already completed SAP FICO course, they can easily learn this one. And those who are new, for them is also easy. Lots of simplification is already done.
Yeah.
Pretty much same approach for everyone.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, I understand that piece. What I'm trying to find is specifically in the point career-wise where right now I am trying to market myself within the SAP FICO to specifically continue in that. As you were saying, it's different. It could be add-on, but would it be more advantageous for me maybe to take one or two projects first into the SAP FICO, maybe more on the FI or either on the CO or either of those modules, get a little bit more hands-on, training, or learning opportunity that way, and then ultimately transition into simple finance, because as you were saying in one of the examples you mentioned, Majid, you mentioned about that how, there's definitely difference, how even in general ledger, how certain tables, or how it's different in simple finance. So specifically in my case, what would you say, like what I just mentioned, take one or two projects, or it could be okay? Because it's, again, moving to something add-on, but it's going to be very different, a little bit different, I wouldn't say very different, than the FICO.
If I will be a you, Vipul, because you asked
Yes.
me a question, and honestly, because my professional obligation that I have given you an answer. First
Yes,
off,
sir.
I have two things. That if I will be in a position to afford this course, because this will add on my probability of success. Because anyhow, I am launching my career in SAP FICO, either on old SAP FICO, ECC EHP 6, or a new SAP FICO, which is EHP 7. So this will add on my probability of success chances. And if I have a vice versa condition that I cannot afford to spend more money on to learn SAP FI S4 HANA, then I have to postpone until I will get my project in SAP FICO. That's my answer is. Very legitimate, very straightforward answer.
I need to rush back. Sure. By some emergency, but I'll call you.
Okay, sure, no problem. So this is my honest opinion and answer for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, thank you. I really appreciate that. If finances is not an issue, sir, just from the learning perspective, something that we have learned in the previous class and now going into this.
Strongly, Vipul, I have to ask you to add more value and more arsenal into the real-time market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I understand that, but how, as you're saying that it's going to be a little different than, because there are certain functionality. So in general,
you have already heard only the few things has changed, and that few things we will discuss in this course. The rest of the things stay the same.
Stay the same. Okay, good. And then how? So is it going to be still going to be more functional? And then the part B is it going to be more functional, or it's going to be technical as well? And if it's going to be, yeah,
it's more functional. Those who are even technical, they have to learn the functionality of S4. Let's say Vara is intended to be looks like he is a technical guy. I'm just giving him a piece of advice. So if he diligently go for this SAP FICO course or the same course, S4 HANA course with me, so he has to work more on functionality side, because whatever the technicalities there, I have already given you all the technicalities, which he already knew. So for him, so this course is very good and very important for him in order to launch in S4 HANA in financial sector. Because in financial sector, when you are working in financial sector, you will see, because you all the time will meet your stakeholder. And if you are at the back end people rarely meet the stakeholder, because all the time you are meeting with the VPs, SVPs, CFO, CO, and giving them reports, how this report is. They always respect you only when you know the functionality. Then you will be in a position, if somebody asks you that in my, let's say I'm giving an example. I have a South Africa, and South Africa based on International Financial Reporting Standard, I have this scenario. Can your SAP can help me in order to extract this report? If the person is a technical, that person will see here and there what should I have given an answer. If the person is more having a knowledge of financials and based on international financial reporting standards, then that person will ask you, what's basically your need? Can you let me know your needs? And now he's explaining the needs. In that South Africa, we have because the subsidy is there, subsidy have different corporate, let's say fiscal year is there, and then we have based on, they have a very specific and unique laws, and based on the unique laws, their taxation reporting I wanted to extract from SAP, how basically will do, how basically incorporate. So if you know the functionality, then you can easily give them the answer. And from treasury perspective, somebody will give you an answer. Hey, I wanted to see my simulation, I wanted to see my forecasting, can you help me out in this parameter? If you already knew some information, you can definitely. So this course basically more of a functional side and less of a technical side. And whatever the technical side basically involved, it's already eased out because we have already simplified the process. Previously, you are using n number of tables, now you are using one universal journal. And based on the, let's say, n number of tables, you should know that if I am bringing in the n number of tables, what is each table meant for? Table number 1 meant for this line item, table number 2 meant for this master data, table number 3 meant for this. So if these are the technical detail basically is required, this is not that technical savvy that you cannot understand. And same way, those who are already on the technical side, for them it's a good advantage for them. They already knew overlap, OLP is there, and based on this information that they can see their reports together. On top of that, they are also learning. Even in today's presentation, they learn a lot. Those who are technical, that how the financial data basically is going into ACDOCA table. And once ACDOCA table, how basically it will go into different direction, and it will, how it will give the reports. So in today's orientation, they'll learn, technical people, they learn a lot. What if they will be in my class and they will learn more from functional perspective? So this way, this orientation is intended for all audience. Those who are beginners, those who are already in the industry, those who are in SAP, those who are non-SAP, it's intended for everyone. Those who are having a CPA, CFA, it's intended for everyone.
Okay, so when they're doing the functional piece, Majid, within, so once they know the functional aspect, there's no then further technical query writing or anything. It's simplified that if you know the functional piece, you'll be able to fulfill the objective of the stakeholder basically. Is that true then?
Correct.
Okay. So there's no like query writing or just, but if you know the functional aspect, then you're good basically.
Because if you look at the SAP has the same. They only added the HANA, high performance analytical, is there. Once high performance analytics are there, database is already there. If you are working as a network administrator, your role tends towards your HANA. You are adding your functionality words. If you are, let's say, analytics, so still HANA and analytics having a different jobs. HANA administrators having a different jobs. HANA, you can say from data perspective, SAP already given a list of jobs, a list of intended certification in the future, which are technical, which are different. Here you are learning that what are their actually skills are more simplified. A BAP is more simplified, basis query is more basis reporting is more simplified, basis transactions are more simplified, security perspective is more simplified. You name it and all the functionalities are there. So it's basically your call that which way you wanted to go. It has more flavor. As for HANA having a more flavor of technical as well as financial side. Previously we were more functional guy. Now we are also adding this 10 to 15% or 20% more from developer perspective as well as from a BAP perspective as well as from security perspective, from basis perspective. Now we are adding these roles to our roles. And similarly, technical people know they wanted to add their functional roles at their belt. So it's a win-win situation pretty much for everyone.
Okay. So if we are more on the functional side, then how will we be adding the 10 or 15% with, as you said, with the ABAP or the basis person? For that, we need to have some. We would need to have.
Same information is included in this course. Whatever the technicalities have been shown, same technicality you have to perform on the real-time job.
So if someone was not heavy into systems or technical writing,
absolutely not required. All the direction has been given to you. It's a guided configuration and guided information has been there.
Okay. All right. So when the only technical thing that the point here would be that how they'll be able to do the configuration based on that requirement. That's all the technical piece it is to, correct?
That's going to stay the same, whatever you have already learned.
Okay.
Only it will be more. Previously you are doing it, let's say 10 different ways. Instead of 10 different ways, now you will use 6 different ways. The process is more simplified.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So you are going to talk about the various reports also, the new reports which introduced in the S/4HANA.
Who is talking? Can you just come over the, because we are listening a lot of background. If you come over the phone instead of listening on the speaker, it will be great.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the various financial reports, new reports introduced, as you said, the file balance and other drill down capability reports. Are we going to go through those reports also in the course?
No, reports, if the data in the server is there, then I can walk you through the report. If the data in the server is not there, because at this time, I haven't seen the data is there or not. If the data is there in the reports, definitely you can drill down the reports the way it's shown over there.
Well, not right now, maybe during the course.
During the course I'm talking, because once I will log onto the system, and if the data is already there, because normally SAP will have some certain data. If the data is there, then definitely we can see, I can walk you through drill down report. It's not a big deal. It all depends upon the data. If the data is there, definitely I can walk you through. Reports are not a big thing. Only thing is that data should be available.
So thank you, Majid. And on the program itself, the course, is it going to be exactly similar to the previous classes where we'll do the FI first and then the CO piece?
So here is a mix and match. If we go as per the SAP directed course, SAP has on-premise S/4HANA. So they have a structured, I have to follow their structure. And you have to follow step by step. Some of the configurations are there, some of the navigations are there, some of the on systems are there, some of the, whatever SAP basically recommended, I will go accordingly. Because this is hands-on functionality, so I will exactly go accordingly. Yes, if you have a doubt at how to configure general ledger, how to configure accounts payable, receivable, if somebody asks me, definitely I will guide them.
Hi, can you tell me what is the duration of the course?
Duration would be 8 days course. Basically, is a Saturday, Sunday, 4 weekend course.
Okay, so how many hours a day?
Normally we start from 9:30 to 4:30, but always class from 9:30 to 5:30.
Oh, okay, all right. And during that time, what is the system access we have?
You will have you can talk to resource coordinator, and he or she will give you that how many months they will provide you the system access. You can talk to them.
Okay, so basically you are saying the 8 days, right? So 8 days course.
Yes.
And when
SAP also give you the same way, but rather we are giving you more time.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine. And when you are planning to start this course?
You can talk to resource coordinator. Might be next week or the after the long weekends.
Okay, can you just briefly, if you don't mind, give me how much percentage you will be actually putting for the ASFIN piece, and how much you will be doing the introduction of the SAP and HANA piece, all those together. So just to give an understanding that how much time we will be putting for the ASFIN, S4 stuff.
We will be working on exclusively on S/4HANA.
Okay, so I'm assuming only first 2 classes will cover all the basics HANA, because I know some HANA as well. So that's what
From very first day, whatever the direction, per course is there, so we will start the system very first day.
Okay, and another thing, what about the once we finish the course with you, what about the jobs opportunity available, and if you don't have experience, because the first thing they will ask you about how much experience you have with the
If you
S4,
follow,
S-Fin.
you follow direction and guideline the way I provide you, and you develop your skill set the way I will teach you guys in the class, and you have to replicate even 50-60%. There are strong chances that you will get a job in the market.
Okay, and you guys are, I think, providing support to get the job as well, right?
Yes, Technology will provide you support, and you can also find a job. Because
So basically, what I'm understanding, if I don't have a hands-on experience with S4 and not much in SAP, so even though I will put all my efforts and get the more than 60% what you are teaching, so you are saying that I might be able to get a job.
Sure.
Okay, all right, understood. And as far as the certification is concerned, is it are you providing some questions for the certification as well?
Yes, if you are interested, I can provide you a guideline. Based on the guideline you follow, because the certifications are a little different. Because here I will give you from project perspective, I will provide you all the details.
Okay, one more question. So this training is basically based on S4. It is not a ECC EHP7.
Yes, EHP7, HANA is built on it. Once they provide you a server, S4 HANA is already built on it. All the analytics already applications already built on it.
Okay, so no, my understanding is that as ECC EHP7 is a separate box, and S4 is a separate box. So that's what I'm asking.
They have connected the servers to put all the S4 HANA piece together.
Oh, okay, understood.
Fury experience is there, analytics are there. They blend it and they provide you. So no, you are not using only ECC EHP7, but you are using from Fury perspective, you are using from analytics perspective. So all perspective they put together.
Okay, wonderful. And one more thing, that you don't have to be a SAP certified in any other module to go for this training.
No.
Okay, and FI is also not a prerequisite to go for the S-Fin training, S4 S-Fin?
No.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Hello, Mr. Majid?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sorry, sir. This is Vipul. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of echo. I think someone may have left the line open instead of muting it. So if they can please mute it.
From my side, it's clear. Might be you guys have some.
Yeah. Anyways, my question. One of my question is, since you've been in the industry so long, in terms of projects.
I have muted Vara was there. Still echoing is there?
I'm hearing a lot of echo, but now I think it's gone. So thank you. Yeah. So so in terms of project-wise, say we just finished FICO, and now let's say if we decide to go on to the Simple Finance as for HANA, are you seeing more projects coming up on the Simple Finance, or it's the same?
It's a mix and match because new industries are coming onto S4 HANA, and the old company also required ECC or SAP FICO consultants. So right now it's a mix and match. More jobs, it's a mix and match.
Correct. But what if you have to gear on one side? Which side would you be gearing? Like on I
told you that S4 HANA will give you more probability chance.
Okay. So if so in my case, sir, if I'm just finishing up my CO piece right now, and if let's say if I decide to go on this program, this course, should I still continue on finishing the CO piece, or I should just stop that because there are some changes in this?
There are changes are less than 10% in each module. Specifically, main functionalities stay the same because it's a consistent software. Consistent and persistent are there. Only some technicalities are changed. The functionality hasn't changed.
So in my case, would you recommend that I finish that piece and then continuously work on the simple finance piece? Or if
on your availability, it depends upon your availability, class availability, and the instructor availability. So you can talk to the tech owners and they will let you know, and then after that I will let them know my availability accordingly. And then you can match that if instructor is available right now, and after that, after this instructor is available after 3 months. So it means I can manage now, and after that, or whatever, basically it's your call, how basically you are managing your time.
Yeah. No, what I meant was, let's say I'm finishing up my CO piece, but let's say I enroll in this class. As you're saying, you'll go into the details. There may be a small change. So my point is, rather than finishing up the CO piece, maybe within this course only, I'll finish up the CO piece, which again,
that functionality is a different, that course is a different, and this course is a different. It will adds on your functionality. What does adds on mean? Whatever you have already learned, this is adds on. The functionality hasn't been changed. Only some of the technical detail has been changed. If you will get a job in S4 HANA, you have a probability, and if you will get a job in ECC, you will get a probability. This way, you have a more probability if you will learn this course. If you are not learning those, it's again your call.
Because you mentioned that it's a different course. That's why we want to make sure that if it's different, then how different it's going to be. And if it's, but at the same time, it's only a little different. That's what it seems like from what you're saying.
Yes, because for those who are technical people, for them it's a totally new, because you already know about functionality and they don't know about the functional piece. So once I will be in general ledger, whatever the requirement as per this particular course SAP has provided us, I will go accordingly. And if those guys wanted to learn what is the general ledger functionality, and then I have to explain to them, though if they will learn from SAP, SAP will not explain to them, but I will explain them over here. So what is the general ledger? What's basically design? What is the chart of accounts? What are basically ledgers are there? What is the chart of depreciations are there? Sorry, chart of accounts are there? What chart of account groups are there? What's basically foreign currency is there? What's basically foreign currency valuation is there? What basically tax reportings are there? What is withholding tax are there? I will let them know all the details if they wanted to learn and if they are interested. Otherwise, I have to follow the course which basically SAP provided us. We will go accordingly.
So if they're interested in, as you mentioned, all of those above, you're going to go into details of all of those categories.
I will go not in details. My major concern is the course which SAP has provided us. It's a different course.
So if any of this technical guys want to go a little bit more on the functional side, drilling further down into any of those areas that you described, would you be going into those details?
I will let them know on the system that this is a system. Might be you guys learn in 1 or 2 days. For them, I will let them know in 1 or 2 hours. That's the difference will be there.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
And plus, it depends upon the class, how the class basically will go. If the class audience is more, if they wanted to learn more functionality, so then I will extend the class hour from 9:30 to 6. And then I will teach this functionality as well as the functional side. So this way I extend my hours accordingly. It again depends upon the audience of the class.
Yamati, this is Sharad.
Hi Sharad.
So are we starting the class next week?
You can talk to resource coordinator and she will let you guys know dates.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Whenever you have a question, you can type so I can unmute, because with your phone we listen a lot of echo.
Yeah, hi, this is Mohammed. I just wanted to know, because you said HANA is like a little bit of add-on of FICO, the older system. So would it, because I'm not
a little bit add-on, it's totally changing the dimension. HANA database has been changed, analytics are there. That analytics and HANA basically is totally changed the paradigm shift of financials. Those
okay, so basically
from technical perspective, the way I have shown you, that tables previously we are taking n number of tables and putting data from different tables and everything. Now we have a universal journal. That universal change basically as a dynamic shifter is there. On top of that, analytics are there. OLAP and OLTP together are there. This is second paradigm shifter is there. Third, in simulations, third shifter is there. Fourth shifter, you can on the fly you can do all kinds of analysis is there. Your month-end close is more robust, and your year-end close is more robust. From material ledger perspective, it's more robust. From your production planning perspective, is more only due to these changes shift. But from functionality perspective, all the functionality stay the same.
Okay, so it's not a prerequisite to learn that system to take this course.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Majid? Yeah. Would you prefer me coming in person in the class, like how I did?
People, it depends upon your discipline.
Okay.
Because I have no control when you are over the phone. You are present there, or your ID is active, and I assume that you are there, but you are not there. If you are not there, whatever thing is gone is gone. So it's all depend upon online people. I strongly recommend even the people who are coming from 200 miles radius, they should come into the class. But due to anything, if they can't come, then they should be very disciplined online. Because people in the past, they flew from Florida, they flew from Texas, they flew from North Carolina, and those who are living in New Jersey, they said that in 30 mile and in 15-mile radius they cannot come. Then they ask themselves they are serious or not, and though they have taken their flights, they are already consultants. So I need only discipline at your end.
Good. Okay, great. And as you previously said, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. And as you previously indicated that this is just going to be add-on, like, and then market you 10 to 15%. So while we are in this class, it's fair to say that it's also kind of revising or kind of revision of what we did in the previous class in the
yes,
in the FIC.
Not a revision, but revision at a high level.
And then again, if and within that, if we had any last-minute questions or whatnot that we planned on in the exit interview, we can definitely, I can definitely ask you on that about some clarity on certain yes, concepts and stuff.
And now you are asking me all sorts of questions. So during the class, I always answer.
Yes. Yeah.
The more you ask, the more you learn. That's my philosophy.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree with that philosophy and stuff, and because this is just going to help understand, like, help me make a decision of which way to go and whatnot. That I really like the concept. It's just, as they were saying, the resource coordinator was saying that it is both functional and technical. So I just want to make sure that
It's a functional from that for those who do not have a functionality background, and for technical for those who do not have a technical background.
So those who don't have, so for those who don't have technical background, sorry, but
the tables has been given.
Correct. So in other words, it's, even though we say that it's going to be technical, on reality, it's not actually technical because it's simplified, basically.
Yes, it's simplified, guided technicalities are there. You didn't need to write any code from your side.
Okay. Like the configuration piece, basically. That's what you.
configuration is not a configuration again is a guided configuration.
Mm-hmm. So if you have to give an example of guided technicality, could you please give an example of that guided technicality?
I have to give you a table that these are the tables you are bringing in and moving into ADCO table, AC Docker table.
Okay.
So
and how do you? Yeah.
The table names are given. So these are the table names and everything are given how the data basically is pulled. So the backend system will do all the backend. You have to know that these are the tables basically is bringing and coming into ACDOCA table. So you should know the table's name. Material ledger table names, assets table names, general ledger tables names. So these are the tables. So these are the technical sides. What is OLAP? What is OLTP? These are the technical sides.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, even though it's technical, but as you said, it's guided and it's something that can easily be learned or practiced, basically.
For technical people, functionality is a new thing for them. For functional perspective, technicality is a new thing for them.
All right.
So that's why functional and technical.
Yeah.
It depends upon what's your background. This is S4 HANA and the companies are moving it and company requires these consultants. Okay guys, if you do not have any questions, then from my side this orientation has been concluded and see you in the class. If you have questions, you still have a couple of minutes.
I do have one question.
Sure.
Yes, what is the cost of the course?
What is?
How much does it cost?
This is resource coordinator you have asked. I just wanted to confirm, that's why I asked you again. So the resource coordinator will let you know.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay guys, talk to and consult your resource coordinator and he and she will let you know about all the logistics of this course. And if you do not have any questions, then see you in the class whenever the class is scheduled by the institute. So I will be present in the class at 9:30 a.m. either Saturday as well as on Sunday. Until then, see you. I preferably and strongly recommend that every person should be in the class who can travel from 200 miles radius.
And Majid sir, I also want to thank you very much. You know, and the last thing I would want to say is like, I'll definitely send you an email. But in terms of my exit interview, you're going to be around in the next.
Talk to resource coordinator, and she or he will let me know.
And let you know. Okay. All right. All right. And the interim, if I had any questions, I can just send you an email or whatnot.
We will discuss all the questions at the time of interview.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful afternoon. See you in the class whenever the class is scheduled.
Thank you very much.
Good noon to everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.